Like and subscribe for more gruesome history to help you sleep. It's spooky season, so get ready for 5 terrifying true stories from the early 1900s in 1908. A group of 4 friends from the University of Michigan decided to take a trip to Pictured Rocks, National Lake Shore, a beautiful stretch of shoreline on Lake Superior. The group consisted of 2 couples, 22-year-old Agnes, 22-year-old Anna, 24-year-old Carl, and 26-year-old Roy. They had rented a boat and were sailing along the coast when they came across a cave they wanted to explore. The opening of the cave was round 20 feet wide and about 10 feet above the water. The friends rode into the cave, but it quickly became apparent that there was not much room inside. Agnes even remarked that it felt like the cave was closing in on them. As they tried to turn the boat around, a large wave crashed over the bow, causing the boat to capsize. The friends struggled to right the vessel, but with the narrow passage and the rough waters, it was impossible. The boat was crushed like a soda can and all 4 occupants were killed. Their bodies were found the next day, washed up on shore. The only survivor was a dog who had managed to swim to safety. Our next story takes us to 1906 Philadelphia. It's here that an African-American woman named Nanny Mae Chewers was working as a domestic servant. One day, while she was out walking her employer's children, she was accused of kidnapping one of them and was arrested, despite the fact that Nanny Mae was innocent. She was convicted of the crime and sentenced to death by hanging on the day of her execution. A crowd of over 1,000 people gathered to watch the hanging. After Nanny Mae had been led to the gallows and the noose was placed round her neck, one of the prison guards pulled on it to make sure it was tight. But in doing so, he accidentally choked her to death before the scheduled time. Her body was then turned over to the attending physician, who performed an autopsy, then allowed spectators to pay 5 cents to view her body. Afterwards, Nanny Mae's remains were handed over to her family for burial, although they were unable to afford a coffin. She was laid to rest in an unmarked grave in a cemetery for the poor. Our final story is about a man who was executed for his crimes. His name was John Lewis, and he was a member of an outlaw gang that terrorized the Midwest during the 1920s. Along with his brother and their associates, John robbed trains, banks, and stagecoaches, stealing over $1 million in valuables. Eventually, the police were able to capture John, and he was sentenced to death by electric chair. On the day of his execution, John was given the option to have his brains examined by a team of doctors. This was seen as an opportunity to study the brain of a criminal mastermind, and many people showed up to watch the procedure. While the doctors were examining his brain, John's body was left unattended. One of the doctors in the room noticed that John's heart was still beating, and he immediately alerted the others. The doctors rushed to stop John's heart, but their efforts were in vain. He was placed back in the electric chair and executed in front of a crowd of over 1,000 people. Afterwards, John's brain was removed from his skull and placed in a jar full of formaldehyde. It was then sent to the state hospital for a further study. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more gruesome history. And now it's time for bed.